You say that, but I don't see any red mana. Or any red cards.
Okay. Wait
so
for it.
there's that.
Okay, wait for it.
What?
Okay, wait for it. I'm gonna let you find it.
There's a birthing pod.
Okay. It's in there, I promise.
Phyrexian Metamorph.
There's no red. There's no red. There's no red. What?
Alright, another point for me.
Okay. So that's gonna put you up to 6, me up to 4. Alright, look, it's blue-black zombie pod.
So, Bug Pod.
Bug Pod, if you will.
Yeah.
By Michael Medaris.
Grixis, what a tease. It's on the left either way. With all your stuff.
He has a different take on Zombie Pod deck. We had him featured very briefly. He was crushing a Delver opponent when we cut in. But he's basically blue-black zombies with a small birthing pod engine and 3 birthing pods within his deck. Some interesting cards that you really don't see often here. Falconwrath Noble, the 4-mana 2/2 flyer from Innistrad with the Blood Arts ability.
A high draft pick for sure.
And fantastic limited card.
First turn Delver.
As we see, can you figure out what Greg's playing? First turn Delver here for Greg. Greg's deck list is these two guys are playing for top 8. He's on the 2 Mana League train as well. He also has 2 Root Chanter's Pike. He has 1 Dismember. Everything else is pretty standard here. 1 Blade Splicer, 3 Restoration Angels. Everything else you've come to know and love from a Delver player.
You know, I got a lot of respect for a guy who can sit down with a bunch of Jackal Pups and Wrath of Gods in the same deck.
Yep.
Black Sun Zenith and Deergraph Ghoul fighting side by side.
Man's man. As we see a Dark Slick Shores tragically slipping a Delver of Secrets. So no flipping today. And we see a Cavern of Souls here as well. We'll see what he's going to name.
I'm going to go out on a limb and guess zombie.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say not zombie. And
it was a zombie.
It was a zombie. So, 7-4, Patrick. That's fine. We'll see what the big follow-up here is. Blade Splicer, the end boss for a zombie deck. For a typical zombie deck, but this is not your typical zombie deck. It does have a birthing pod engine.
This is not your father's zombie deck.
That is correct, sir. Oh, Gabe Nassif token. It's going to be in play not for a long time, so enjoy it while you can.
I've noticed that the Gab Nassif tokens are just about the most popular. And I think, honestly, it's in big part to the amount of yellow on it. They're very distinct, very crisp.
There's not a small amount of yellow there.
He's also got that $1 million smile.
He does look great, doesn't he?
Phyrexian Metamorph copying Blade Splicer.
So we're going to get a Gullum token coming into play here.
Nassif's going to be in Seattle, by the way. It's going to be fun.
Another Nassif.
My God.
So many Nassifs, so little time.
Dude, I feel the same way.
That's going to knock Michael down to 18. He did have to pay the Phyrexian mana on that. Let's see what kind of offense Greg can mount here. We have a little Blade Splicer standoff. Now we have another Delver here.
I thought you said no flipping today.
We're going to see what happens. Birthing Pod would be a pretty nice play here, so long as so long as Greg doesn't have a mana leak, but we're going to find out exactly where we're going to go in the mid-game here.
What do you think about these Vile Rebirths in his sideboard? It's kind of a fun little piece of technology against Snapcaster Mage. You exile a card and get a 2/2 zombie.
Pretty nice against Snappy, pretty good in the mirror too, taking care of a Gravecrawler or the Undying Undross Messenger. It's a little bit, it's an underplayed card in my opinion, as we see a Blood Artist on the stack from Michael.
Always a little dicey metamorphing the Blade Splicer against the guy with all the Vapor Snags, but
yeah,
you know.
It's definitely a gamble.
Wow, I mean, all right.
It's coming on in. He's got a feeling he's just, uh-oh.
This could go wrong.
Trouble brewing?
Trouble
brewing. So he's going to pay, Greg is going to pay 2
I would have waited
life.
a minute to see if there's any chance he tragic slips something. You know, like if he would have tragic slipped the Blade Splicer.
So Meteor Giant Girl's going to take care of that, but Greg only has 1 card left in his hand. Not a great spot for a Delver player to be in, honestly. So we're going to see a small life exchange there with the Blood Artist as well.
And fair exchange is no robbery. All right. There is the tragic slip. Wow.
He has one. I would like to think he's going to use it on that Golem token, but I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. He's going to take care of the Delver.
Doesn't care about the ground creatures. He just wants to make sure that your prediction of no flipping today.
Is correct, and I appreciate that. Another blood artist trigger is going to occur. How do you feel about the tragic slip there instead of on the Golem token?
I've just noticed, by the way, we got a comment from John Medina. It says Vile Rebirth only targets creatures. It does nothing in Snapcaster. Oh, really? You think Snapcaster Mage isn't a creature, John Medina? Ooh, burn. Next question.
And really, what can you say to follow up that? As Greg does just pass back, 2 cards in his hand. Michael looking for action as well.
I'm not convinced it was right to let him keep that Golem.
I'm not either. I mean, I understand that Delver is a bit of a threat, but it didn't seem like an immediate one.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 power on the table himself.
As we see a birthing pod here.
And that's game, boys. Sacrificing the Metamorph of a Blade Splicer to go get a 4-drop, I hope.
And what force do we have?
Falconwrath Noble. Or another Metamorph. Alternatively, you could sack the Deergraph Ghoul and go get a Butcher Ghoul. That's a thing. Or a Phantasmal Image. You could get a Phantasmal Image, copy the Blade Splicer, get a Blade thing, then sack it to go get busy.
I think that's more of a thing.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yes.
And that's what he's doing.
Oh, I love it.
So we're going to copy that.
There we go.
Get ourselves another Golem token here. And now, if Greg isn't... Greg has to hurry. Because...
Well, he certainly has to at least do something.
As I know, and I know you've played some Birthing Bond in your day.
Once or twice.
It only takes about 2 activations before things spiral out of control and you can't catch up.
I think 2 is probably a very liberal, or I guess very conservative estimate.
I feel like I have found that it's only 2 activations before the opponent is basically unable to really keep up with what you're doing.
I generally think 1.
It only takes 1?
As long as you go get Inferno Titan.
Not going to find that here. And let me check Michael's deck list. I know we said it was Grixis before.
So there's a Snapcaster Mage.
Well, no Inferno Titan there.
Mutagenic Growth killing the Phantasmal Image.
That's a trade I'd love to make.
Yeah, particularly when he has the Phyrexian Metamorphed version. I mean, he's not even... Oh, and there's a Gut Shot on top?
It's that's a Geist of Saint Traft. That's a Geist.
A Gentleman's Gut Shot. The Geist of Saint Traft. Honestly, though, Greg is like miles from making forward progress here, right?
Yes, that's really high. That's how I feel too. And I mean, I'm looking at his deck list. He doesn't have a main deck answer to a Birthing Pod. So all he can really do is break up the chains with his guys or potential Gut Shots or Vapor Snags. So he's in a really tough situation here. As long as Michael's able to use that Birthing Pod correctly and just move up the chains in a good fashion and keeping his life total high, I can't really see how he's going to get back into this, but stranger things have happened. So we see he's finally sacrificing the Blade Splicer copy.
Time to go get the Noble.
We're going to get very, very noble.
A noble gesture indeed.
Oh, he's just going to get another Phyrexian Metamorph, copy the Splicer.
Sure,
Okay.
just keep it going.
We got a reader. So he's massing Golem tokens, or massing the seeps, as it were.
And I respect that.
Not
Oh,
the Seep.
Tommy Hovey. And you know, that's fine. Hovey.
Oh, a fair trade.
Oh, there we go.
A fair trade.
Switches sides. Hovey with significantly less hair in that picture than he had during his career.
As we see the
Gabriel Nassif #1 enters the red zone.
we see the unsick token coming in. Looks like it's going to smash for 3.
Is that Michael Stipe on the right side of the wall? No. Guess it's Tommy Hovey.
And a Gravecrawler. And passing it back. And these are the game states where typically Blood Artist unassumingly takes them over. As we see a Ponder. Ponder hard, my friend.
Part of me ponders if possibly.
That's a lot of P.
Yeah.
I don't have that in me. Look, oof. Greg analyzing, trying to figure out what he can do to get back into the game. And I'm kind of thinking the same thing, honestly. It looks like he's keeping the Ponder. It's going to be a Gataxian Probe.
Let's see what you're working with.
Just a Drowned
Catacombs. I'm not impressed.
Nothing too spicy here.
It'll be interesting to see what the format's like when Dark Slick Shores rotates out and is replaced by Overgrown Tomb and Steam Vents. You know, with no blue-black dual land to replace Dark Slick Shores, it's going to be a lot harder to build a blue-black deck when Return to Ravnica becomes legal.
That's true.
Fact. That is true.
Greg kind of begrudgingly shaking his head, not loving the spot that he's in. You can really feel how Birthing Pod is really turning the tide of the game, as we're going to see a gut shot there in the Blood Artist, dealing Greg 3 and gaining Michael 1. Not the best of trades.
So what do you think? Is it time to sack the Gravecrawler to go get like a Butcher Ghoul or some nonsense like that?
Well, I mean, he can
give it the Gravecrawler, or sack the Metamorph and keep this party going.
Well, I mean, the other option he has is he can go ahead and sack the Gravecrawler and just get a replacement Blood Artist as well. Blood Artist is affecting the board in such a way that like Greg wanted to take care of it so badly, he might just want to go get another one.
But he won't be able to get the Gravecrawler back then, because he won't have any zombies.
That's true. That's true. It could be Falkenrath Noble time too, but he is
Falkenrath that. No. Time for the Blood Artist. Apparently, your prediction has come true. With only 5 life, Greg is not in a position to be able to defend himself against this sort of, these sorts of shenanigans.
All right, so in we go.
For everyone asking at home, he did in fact metamorph a Metamorph for a Metamorph, because the Metamorph's casting cost was only 3, as it was a copy of Blade Splicer.
Yes. We see some of the appropriate blocks here. First strike damage is going to resolve. These are going to trade, so it looks like it's going to be a total of 3 Blood Artist triggers. It's going to knock Greg down to 2.
Quite the predicament, considering Blood Artist is in play with 3 creatures.
I think that Snapcaster Mage should not be any longer for this world, but maybe I'm incorrect.
Yeah, is that Snapcaster actually in play?
I'm surprised. It looked like he blocked it.
Who can tell?
There we go. Okay. So that's a pretty
tough... long arm of the law, Cedric Phillips, keeping him safe, keeping it clean, watching from Skynet.
Yeah, that's a pretty tough Snapcaster Mage otherwise.
Yeah.
And we just see a hasty shuffle here with a Ponder. One-time dealer? Draws 1. Is that what we were looking for? Is that what the doctor ordered? We have a Gataxian Probe. You see another Drowned Catacombs. Hit me.
Looking for that Vapor Snag. I don't think even the Vapors will be enough for him at this juncture.
And he's just going to pass right on back again. Birthing Pod going to work. We see Drowned Catacombs. 4th mana. Falkenrath Noble.
Fatality. Excellent.
That's it.
Greg packs his cards up. We're going to go to game 2.
Michael ahead 1 game so far, playing for top 8 against Greg Borish.
What's Greg got in the sideboard?
Greg going to be on the play this game. Looking at his sideboard, as far as things that can take care of Birthing Pod, we see a Steel Sabotage and a Divine Offering. Again, not sure if you want to fight on that angle against that particular card. Also going to find, man, not a ton. A Dismember, 2 Phantasmal Images. I mean, the 3 Celestial Purges and the Time Reinforcements are going to come in. But there's not really a ton that he can board in here against Michael's deck. It's his interesting little take on zombies.
Michael, on the other hand, has a couple of tricks up his sleeve. He's got a couple of Lilianas, which will help against the Geist of St. Traft, plus just provide some removal. He's got Doomblade, which is particularly valuable against these Restoration Angel builds, as well as giving him protection against Delver. And it's not clear if you would want Ratchet Bomb or not, but it's at least an option to consider. And the same is true for Duress, you know? Probably don't want Duress, but he would know better from the matchup. Either way, I actually I like Michael's chances. I like this setup. He's got a lot of proactive threats. He's actually got some removal, and if you're not going to play very much removal, it's nice to have these Black Sun Zeniths as kind of a cleanup, you know.
And one thing that that Glenn and I brought up while you were on your break is Black Sun Zenith is a card that people don't really play around, and like from this kind of deck. You know, it's not really an effect that you see in an aggressive zombie deck, so it wouldn't surprise me to see a start from Greg where he, leads off with a Delver, maybe taps out to play a Geist on one of the turns, in between turn 3 and turn 5, and then all of a sudden Black Sun Zenith is on the stack for 2 or more, taking care of his entire board.
And a Blood Artist or 2, and we're talking about a pretty big drain life.
Yeah, we're talking about a pretty big swing in the game, so it's going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to catch him off guard with those, or even if he does leave them in. I would think that he's going to leave them in this matchup, especially being on the draw so he can catch up, but I cannot predict the future as of yet.
I, on the other hand, can. He'll keep them in, and they'll be decent if he draws them.
Thanks, John. So do not forget, guys, that when we do conclude this round, we will be going to Glenn. He'll be dissecting the top 8 decks and the top 8 competitors, and we will also be giving away 3 months of Star City Games Premium today. Correct, Show D? Correct indeed. I'm getting pretty good at this. I'm learning.
Hell yeah.
I'm learning a thing or 2 or 20. And yes, I said he is dissecting the top 8 competitors. That's correct.
Yeah. I assume that it's an expression relating to dissecting their information as opposed to their bodies.
Correct. That is true.
But
That's
you never
true.
know. Maybe we should get some forensics in here and...
NCIS?
Dude, I don't even
CSI?
know anymore. Dude, we're at a Comic-Con. For all I know, there's like 40 people dressed up as CIS right now. Or CSI or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know who CIS is.
Dude, the CIS, you do not want to mess with them. They're like one layer removed from the MIBs.
Do they have their own theme song?
Well,
Who's singing their song?
It's not even
Will
their own
Smith.
theme song. Honestly, just they hired Will Smith to rip off a popular, or not even popular, but kind of a second-rate pop track from a number of years ago.
Okay.
Do forget me not. You know what I'm talking about?
I have a feeling.
Yeah.
I'm willing to, even if I don't fully understand.
I'm sorry, sample.
Yeah, he sampled. He sampled.
Yeah.
I put it within Will Smith's range to rip off a former song and take a sample of it.
Forget me not.
But you are confident that you know the song.
I mean, I certainly know like at least the words "forget me not." You're talking about it's like the track that he used for the Man in Black.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
That's the anthem.
yeah. Get your damn hands up.
That's right. That's the Men in Black song.
Oh my God, we're getting a little delirious, and it's only Saturday.
One of
evening.
us is getting delirious.
It's
I'm
gonna
fine.
be a long weekend.
One
and
of us
It's gonna
is
be a
delirious.
wild ride.
As we do
Turn one
see,
ponder.
we do see a turn 1 ponder. Both players have kept their opening 7 here.
Who do you suppose signed that? Do you think it's Richard Garfield or the artist?
Artist in the dark.
Why did he sign it in the dark?
I don't know. That doesn't seem smart. It's a pretty good signature for being in the dark, however. It's a keeper, pumpkin eater.
Seachrome Coast. Looks like a pretty good mix there.
Let's see if
Seachrome
Michael's
Coast
able
has
to.
some cards that are not Seachrome Coast.
Let's see if Michael's able to start with at least a 1-drop here.
Turn 1 Swamp is not the most exciting.
All right. Well, Gravecrawler. Excite you a little bit, I hope. And we have
Turn
a
2 Spellskite. An
This-
interesting play. What do you think about Spellskite in this matchup?
A little surprised to see him. I guess I'm not terribly surprised to bring him in. He, I mean, it does a nice job of stopping obviously Gravecrawler and any other 2-power guys. So I'm not terribly surprised to see this come in.
And it does throw a monkey wrench in these tragic slip mortar pod plans, right? It's not bad. Not bad.
So let's see what Michael's going to do here. We see a Torpor Orb.
Torpor Orb.
That's surprising.
Gutsy. I like it. Shuts off his own Droff's Messenger, but
it's going to shut off Snapcaster Mage, the one Blade Splicer, and 3 Restoration Angels here. So
he doesn't know that Greg only has 1 Blade Splicer.
That's very true. That's very true. It definitely changes quite a few things. Like just because he doesn't know that that's how many that he has. As we see a Geist of St. Trapped here now.
Not a lot of Birthing Pod decks with Torpor Orb in them.
Yes, that's not something you typically see.
That's definitely the type of tactic you can only learn off the reservation. Like that's not how they do it back at base camp.
As we're going to see a Phyrexian Metamorph here.
Copying the Geist of St. Trapped?
Yes. That's what it looks like.
Yes.
Alrighty. So he's traded there. He's buying himself some time. And I feel like Michael's particular build of zombies, he's going to want to play a longer game instead of trying to rush down like a black-red zombie deck would.
Yeah.
So we see an island here
yeah,
and
it's
a
interesting
Ponder.
to see that the black-red zombie deck with Gravecrawler is actually the control deck.
Yeah. At least attempting to play defense. Or at
and
least
the guy
draw
with
the game out.
Spell the blue-white deck with Spell Skites is the beatdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I like it. I like that. It's crazy, man. I like it.
As we're going to see a Delver of Secrets here. After that Ponder, and Greg is also hiding a Celestial Purge in his hand, so...
He's the type. Letting Michael untap. Biding his time. That Spellskite, actually a very respectable answer to Droff's Messenger.
No, without question. Without question. I mean, it's going to stop a lot of the cards in his deck. I guess I overlooked that when I'm looking at his sideboard,
dude,
that he does have 2 of those.
Sometimes you just want to Tidal Kraken, man. Let the tide in. Let it in, let it out. You can't explain that. Michael, still without blue mana.
Take that.
Ooh, Michael now has blue mana next turn anyway. He's kind of just hanging out until he draws a Birthing Pod, though, right?
That's what it feels like, yeah. And he can't even take care, from what we can tell, he can't even really take care of this Delver of Secrets.
Yeah, because this Mortar Pod is less than effective with a Spellskite in play.
Yeah.
Although, when Michael gets another zombie, he'll be able to start machine gunning with that Gravecrawler.
Yep.
And I use the term machine gun loosely. More like a rat, a tat.
More like
oh, you got to keep, pumping the shotgun.
It's like a paintball gun, like a BB gun, maybe.
Yeah, you definitely got to spend some mana.
As we're gonna see a Thought Scour here,
right,
revealed for the Delver of Secrets.
My money's on Greg not Thought Scouring Michael this turn. If anything, he points that sucker at himself.
Insectile Liberation coming across, putting Michael down to 15.
It's kind of interesting to see just how effective that Spellskite has been again. Like, Mortar Pod on the Insectile would have been pretty good back when it was in its Delver days. It's interesting that he did not Celestial Purge the Gravecrawler in response to the Mortar Pod.
Sure.
So that he couldn't get shot by the token. Oh, I guess that doesn't matter.
Oh,
because the Spellskite still.
Jig is a little up.
Oh, it's a Black Sun Zenith game? That's cute.
Busted.
Doomblade's pretty effective against Spellskite.
Doomblade is effective. And Zenith, is, so long as Greg does not have Mana Leak, is going to be effective this game as well. But, I mean, Greg knowing about it, of course, does change quite a few things. It's going to change out.
Chances.
I mean, this game is by no means over.
Who do you like in this game?
Given the contents of their hand, I am favoring Greg at this point. I mean, Moorland Haunt in play. He has at least 1 Celestial Purge and a Vapor Snag in his hand. It's potentially 2 Celestial Purges, so he's got a lot of things covered with those.
I'll put my money on the long shots. I predict the Lions will have a winning record this year.
Okay.
As for this game, I have no idea. I just hope Michael draws a Birthing Pod and we can get wild.
There's a Doomblade.
Tank and comes out with Doomblade the Spellskite. Greg not legally allowed to redirect the Doomblade to himself.
Cannot do that. Not yet. There isn't a card that does that yet.
Goes ahead and bins it.
Here comes Gravy.
Gravy? Hell yeah. Much better to have, if you ask me, it is so much better to have the nickname Gravy than the nickname Cold Mashed Potatoes.
Depends on who it is.
You feel like there's some people that would be better served with the Cold Mashed Potatoes nickname?
Tom Martell.
No. No.
So we're going to see an attempt to move the Grave Crawl over here, and we are finally going to see that Celestial Purge cast.
He even got the 2 in there.
Did get the 2 in.
I like that.
And so the cards left in Greg's hand now are actually Timely Reinforcements, Vapor Snag, and a land.
If Michael could deal with that insect, he'd also have to deal with the Snapcaster and the Moreland Haunt to make any traction.
Alright, let's see what Michael's able to draw.
As a note, Aaron LeBlanc at home, you are correct. You never win premium. Greg, keeping the beats going. What's Michael's plan here? I mean, he's got the Black Sun Zenith, but that's his primary out to the Moreland Haunt, right?
We're gonna finally see him pull the trigger on this here.
All right.
Just a 1-for-1. Make sure you shuffle that Zenith in, my friend. There we go. No, don't move it over. There we go. Move it there.
Just put it on top. Shuffle it up. Let's go. So Michael's got Mortar Pod and Torpor Orb. Now it's kind of nice that Torpor Orb is making sure that Snapcaster doesn't recycle like the Purge or anything.
It is just a 2-mana 2/1 at this point.
But that Moreland Haunt's going to do some grinding.
And we are going to see a Diagraph Gold post combat. All right, there's your first Moreland Haunt activation.
First of many.
And we're also going to see Snapcaster Mage too.
Coral Merfolk.
So it's going to make Timely Reinforcements in his hand like a little bit worse.
Do you think there's any chance he was supposed to? I guess he wants to wait anyway till his life total's lower.
So we're going to push across for 3, putting Michael down to 9. And Greg's draw step was a Restoration Angel this turn, so. The Torpor Orb is doing some work, but
not really enough.
Not enough to invest a slot.
Man, that Diagraph Ghoul is about to eat it face first. We're talking like it's like he's on a skateboard and he's like going down the railing.
Okay.
And there's just a bunch of teenage kids shooting a home video, and then he just wipes out at the end, and he's like, that's it.
It's tragic.
Yeah. Well, it's not that tragic. He didn't die or anything. I mean, he's a zombie.
As we are going to see a Phantasmal Image here.
This doesn't seem like a great Phantasmal Image.
The choices are
It's not going to work on the Snapcaster Mage.
It just targets Diagraph Ghoul.
Yeah, but...
And now we're going to see an equip Mortar Pod. Okay. And he's just going to pass it back, so he can block reasonably well on the Snapcaster Mage, but what he doesn't know is that
the rest of the story
is that a 3/4 is incoming. So Restoration Angel is able to resolve. Greg is going to draw his card this turn. He draws another Vapor Snag.
Vapor Snag.
Going to come across with the beatdowns. He's going to deal Michael 4. Snapcaster is going to bite it. But that's okay when you have a Moreland Haunt. He's just going to pass it back. Game is looking relatively tough for Michael to win. At this point, Birthing Pod isn't much of an out, just because he's going to have to pay 2 life to use it. So just trying to think of what's going to be able to save him here. As he comes across with both Diagraph Ghouls.
Be nice if he had that Phantasmal Image to copy Restoration Angel right about now.
That's the truth. Another Diagraph Ghoul.
Brains. Greg presenting lethal, forcing the Mortar Pod activation. Little does he know, the Vapor Snag on the other Diagraph Ghoul will dispatch him.
Alright, time to make a move.
Drops to 1.
Down to 1, down to none.
There's the snag. We move to game 3.
Game 3 we will be moving to with Michael on the play this go around instead of Greg, which is probably a pretty big deal.
Absolutely. When you're all playing 1-drops that are so crucial, like Delver of Secrets and Diagraph Ghoul, you want to be the guy in the play. You really do. Yeah, I mean, not really a ton. It looks like Michael's going back into his board. Maybe there's something he wants to do different now that he's on the draw, or now that he's gained more information.
Potentially wants to move in one of these Divine Offerings or Steel Sabotage now that he's seen a Mortar Pod as well. Also because he does have the information of Black Sun Zenith and how he can possibly be set up with that. Maybe Greg is changing some things here.
Oh, I see, yeah.
No, they're both reaching, actually. Yeah. Sorry.
Well, I think it was one of those, one reached and the other's like, I don't want to be the guy now reaching.
Sure. I'm interested. I mean, I think maybe Michael's looking to move those Torpor Orbs out of his deck.
I was thinking the same thing.
I think he just saw firsthand that it really didn't have much of an impact. Like,
it did some stuff, I guess. It stopped him from drawing 2 cards. But, like, I mean, he doesn't have a good mechanism to make sure that he actually can stay ahead of the... Like, he doesn't want to get beat going long by Moorland Haunt, you know?
Yeah. I mean, and Restoration Angel is still a 3/4 flyer. It's still a big card and a pain to deal with.
It's not even clear people wouldn't play a 3/4 flyer for 4. It was just straight up, you know?
Yeah.
Just on the rocks. But, like, drawing a card, which is often what that ability does, pretty rad. Alright, folks at home, question for you. Out of the 5 guilds in Return to Ravnica, which one is the strongest so far? This question is worth nothing. You can't win anything. I'm just curious. Tweet at us, SCG Live.
Me personally?
Yeah?
I'm going to go with the underdog. Selesnya.
You are correct. That is the underdog.
I'm gonna go with the underdog. I'm gonna take Selesnya.
I like that. What's your favorite Selesnya card so far? Or are you just a man who likes controversial positions?
Both, to be fair. I think my favorite one so far is Temple Garden. Perhaps you've heard of it.
Yeah.
One of my favorite lands. But I'm also a pretty big fan of Selesnya Charm, actually.
All right.
I kind of like that charm.
It's definitely versatile. It's a real nice, I guess, versatile tool. The fact that you actually get a pump spell that has so many other options. It'd be a little better if people were still playing Titans, but, you know.
But oh darn, Titans are gone. Oh darn. It makes me so unhappy. How long? 2 years of those or 3?
2 years and 3 months.
Okay. Felt like 3 years for some reason.
We are on the 3rd year right now.
Okay. I've just had a lot of Primeval Titans cast against me. A lot of Primeval Titans cast against me as Michael is shuffling furiously.
Making sure this match takes place in a timely fashion. As a reminder, players only have 3 minutes to sideboard and present before the Executioner comes out.
So I've been told.
There are no misdemeanors when it comes to taking too long to shuffle. First offense, punishable by, I guess, is decapitation the only thing we got? I'm not sure. We're going to get a ruling on that. Fortunately, both players still shuffling, so there's no concern of either one feeling awkward that they're the one taking too long. Now we move to shuffling each other's.
Tick, 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 tick.
You may notice that there's a suspicious lack of "Roar, the zombie apocalypse is coming!" And that's because the con next to us is winding down for the night. They're going to start back up tomorrow, but we're going to
make sure you get your ticket.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're going to be here enjoying a very zen-like experience of a hall that, even though it looks like there's a ton of people in the background, that's actually just the pixels. It's been shopped in to make it look more alive. I mean, really, there's, as you can see, if you're us, there's nobody over there. Oh, so players are drawing hands. We're making progress here.
We have one mulligan here for Greg.
Going on minute 7.
Well, you're keeping healthy track of the shuffling time.
Just trying to keep it official, man. You watch to make sure Snapcasters die. I'll watch to make sure that this match is taking 7 minutes for the shuffling.
Together, nothing will get by us. Nothing.
What do you think the chances are that sinker, the third set of this block, you know, hook, line, sinker, the sinker, the small set, is a Nephilim set? Doesn't it seem the type? I mean, so they're leading with 5 of the guilds, right? Okay. And then they're going to come with the other 5.
Okay.
And first you draft the 5 by themselves, then you drop the other 5 by themselves, and then when sinker comes out, you draft small set sinker, and then one of each of the other 2 packs. That sounds like the type of draft format where you'd be playing like 4 colors and stuff, you know?
I can see it happening.
Dude, absolutely. Besides, this is like an opportunity for them to right a past wrong. And I mean, they brought back like bringing back Storm and Cold Snap and all that. Dude, it is totally in their range to bring back the Phylums. Turn 1 Gitaxian Probe by Greg.
Boom, boom, boom.
Gitaxian Probe reveals.
Boom.
Reasonable keep.
One card that we can't quite see off of the edge. He moves it in for us. Black Sun Zenith. You were hoping it was a land.
Yeah, I've seen better keeps. But at least he's on the draw. And by on the draw, I mean he's on the play. Huh. This is a very reactive hand. This is the type of hand you look at and you're not entirely sure that you expect to see Falkenrath Aristocrat in it. Or Falkenrath Noble, I should say. More likely to see the Aristocrat.
Alright, let's see what he's going to do here. I'm going to be very interested to see what kind of game plan Michael is going to craft.
Probably land Blood Artist.
That's going to be a start, more than likely. And we do see
the top decked Blood Throne Vampire.
We do see a card you did not predict, my friend.
Vampire, putting Greg on an 18-turn clock.
He's going to pass back. He does have a gut shot at the ready.
But Michael can sack the Blood Throne Vampire in response.
And he's just going to pass back. Michael... Coming across for 1. Alright, he's happy to take 1. We're going to see that Blood Artist that you spoke of.
No mana, though. Disappointed!
Very interested that he's not using... Would you have used this gut shot by now, or no?
Yeah, probably. I would have just gut shotted the Blood Throne Vampire in response to the Blood Artist.
Oh, okay, there's a...
I mean, what's the plan here?
I'm not entirely sure, honestly. I mean, like, I know he has a Vapor Snag in his hand, so there's potential for a quote-unquote blowout, but I feel like he's just getting a little too cute here.
As Kyle Bogamus can tell you, it is impossible to be too cute.
Good point. He would know, too. We see a gut shot finally being used on the Blood Artist, dealing Greg 3.
Bloodthorn Vampire.
And for one more.
Entering the red zone.
Can the Vampire do it by itself? Because Michael does not have lands, but he sure has a boatload of removal.
It's not even clear that the Vampire can even do half the damage, considering how fast Greg is Phyrexian lifing himself out.
That's true.
Greg hitting all his land drops. 4th land. It's looking pretty good. Good mana draw, but the thing is, he doesn't look like he's got too fast of a game plan. He's got to win in the next 11 minutes and 5 turns.
Cross for one more. Just gonna take another one.
Michael with a controlling hand full of Doomblade, Tragic Slip, and Uncastables. And we're gonna see a Blood Artist here?
I think it's just past the turn back. Yep. Yeah, he's gonna gut shot that finally.
Out of my game. Picks the Prosperity. No, is that he picks the Cadaverous Bloom. Looks like that's the Cadaverous Bloom he picks up.
All right, draw.
Greg draws.
That is a Steel Sabotage.
Interesting. Able to counter Mortar Pod or Birthing Pod. Or Metamorph for that matter.
So at this point, Greg is really looking for one card right now, and it's Geist of Saint Trath, without question. Anything else he plays is just going to die. As we are going to see another Cavern of Souls here from Michael, finally drawing his 3rd land.
Now, if he draws a red mana, he can Heightsku second right from this position, right?
That's true. That is definitely an option. And he's going to name Shapeshifter with that other Cavern of Souls.
And I respect that. He wants to be able to Phantasmal Image. And he certainly doesn't look like he's got the mana to do much. It does lock him out of Geralf's Messenger for a bit, though, but from the sound of it, he doesn't even have one. So there. Another land for Greg Borish. Still no clock. He has a Restoration Angel in his hand, but he wants to play this one long and slow because he knows that Michael has both Tragic Slip and Doomblade. It's the hope. Drop a creature. When he gets Doombladed, save it with the Angel. Fairly textbook.
And he also has a Vapor Snag in his hand as well, so he's not in much of a rush, and he's not being pressured at all either, so he can really take his time until something forces him to not take his time now. The interesting is who does it favor in this position?
I think Greg still has the edge, but it's still a close match.
We see a Gravecrawler here from Michael, a card that actually presents some sort of relevant clock.
It's interesting, he tapped the Swamp instead of the Cavern. Was that Cavern on Vampire?
Yeah.
No. Really?
Yep.
Why would he put it on Vampire?
Greg
only had 1 land untapped.
I'm not sure. I mean, he wanted to get the Blood Throne and the Blood and the Blood Vampire through too. So the Blood Artiste, excuse me.
I don't know anything about any of that.
He's not
like your Griff's captain either.
He's got himself in a pretty sticky situation now. Only has 1 black mana. Can't ever cast 2 removal spells at once, it looks like.
Draws the Geralf's Messenger. But he is miles away from being able to play.
Yes.
Fortunately, he has 9 other Swamps in his deck that he can hope to draw 2 of.
So we're
going to see, is this going to be a Metamorph?
I believe this is going to be a Metamorph. It's going to take 2 to cast it.
Pays 2. Do you think you can get Greg to put the Steel Sabotage in his graveyard?
Looks like it. That's awkward. Because he named Shapeshifter with Cavern of Souls.
How embarrassing. He does get Greg to discard the Steel Sabotage.
So he's going to copy a Gravecrawler and just pass back again now, so...
Why did he copy a Gravecrawler instead of the Restoration Angel?
That is a good question. I mean, one reason is just, if he copies the Gravecrawler, then he has a zombie for his initial Gravecrawler to be able to keep returning it at some point is what I believe the rationale is there.
It's not clear that's rational, but I respect it.
All right, coming across for 4.
Dude, how messed up is it that Phantasmal Image is not a shapeshifter?
Yep. Just an illusion. All right, so he gets 2 across. We could see a Tragic Slip or something close to it here from Michael. He does have a bevy of options in his hand. He's only got 1 black mana to do it with. So there is the Tragic Slip.
Tragic Slip killing the Restoration Angel.
It's going to resolve.
And because he has that Phyrexian Metamorphed Gravecrawler, he is going to be able to get back his other Gravecrawler next turn.
And finally a Ponder from Greg. Finally going to be able to find some sort of action now.
Oh, it is an angel.
Oh, it is an angel? Okay, thank you. It looked like he copied the Gravecrawler for some reason. He pointed to it, but I think he was pointing to it to blink it.
If we can get Dr. Petnik over here. Turns out Cedric is wildly, vividly hallucinating.
Can't see anything.
Is that Divine Offering? It's interesting. Divine Offering, your Restoration Angel. Zzz.
That'll finish it. And that does finish it.
I like his style.
It's going to get him 4.
Much needed life.
But we're almost getting to the range now where Michael can actually cast a... and there's another cavern. He's going to be able to actually finally cast a Dral's Messenger that's been sitting in his hand, assuming that he named Zombie with that Cavern of Souls, which he did.
And here we see it.
There it is, finally.
Tough spot for Greg.
Yeah, he is really in a rough spot. He's only got 2 cards in his hand. One of them's a land, and we know that he kept with his Ponder. So those next couple of cards are going to have to be pretty good. Oh, one of them's a Ponder.
That's pretty good. We just got a rolling on the floor. That is, in fact, pretty good.
Taking a look at the top 3, I know I see at least 1 island as the bottom card, which isn't going to help much now, but are the first 2 cards good enough? They look like the first one is. There it is. It's been a long time. Geist of Saint Trapped.
And that's a thing. That is a thing. He's still going to lose this race by a significant amount if he doesn't get something else to the party, but...
Alright, another black mana here for Michael, so he's finally getting out of his mana problems now. Part of the opportunity cost associated with playing Cavern of Souls in your deck.
Yes, sir. We're going to see a Noble? Or an Aristocrat? Yeah, I guess a Noble.
We're going to see a Noble here.
Just in case things go wrong and this Dral's Messenger bites it and a Restoration Angel hits the table.
And now we're going to see a Phantasmal Image.
Probably of a Dral's Messenger. Possibly of the Geist, though, right?
It could be the Geist just because it's going to be a drain 2.
I like it. Oh, that's right. It'll be a drain 2 and the Messenger will get through unimpeded. Yeah, I like to party.
We like to party.
Oh, it goes without saying you like to party. You like the Venga Boys, right?
Yeah.
All right, Vapor Snag on the Noble,
making it less brutal. Now he can change. Now he can decide again what he wants to do. I don't think it's a for sure thing that he copies Geist. He does. Get his only relevant clock off the board and keep bashing with his own. Michael putting Greg down to 6.
Another Ponder. Love it. Keep it going. So you can tell that's Martettan's signature with the authority that it signed. Yeah, I drew this Ponder.
All right, shuffle away.
For everyone asking, the Steel Sabotage on the Metamorph, it failed as the Metamorph is a shapeshifter and Cavern of Souls was active. Not the best use of Steel Sabotage, but a use nonetheless.
Just a bit of an operations error there by Greg. Just a minor I mean, I don't want to say minor mistake because it may end up costing him a little bit, but it happens. He draws a Delver off of that. Let's kick it back over to Michael. Let's see what Michael can do. Michael's sitting pretty. We know he's got a boatload of removal in his hand, so it's very unlikely that Delver's going to stay alive.
It's interesting, though. Greg could certainly die in the next 46 seconds in 5 turns, but it's not clear that Michael could actually die that fast.
Trying to maybe play out for a draw here for Greg, potentially, as we see Falconwrath Noble hitting play now.
I mean, I still think Michael's going to win in time, but...
And there's your Tragic Slip. We're going to get a drain here from the Noble, putting Greg down to 5, Michael up to 19. And then the old Messenger coming across. Putting Greg to 2. And he's going to need a good one, and I don't know what the good one can be.
And that's the match.
That's it.
Greg shakes Michael's hand as Michael advances to top 8 of SCGLA with his not Grixis but Bug Zombie pod deck. Another Delver deck falling. It's interesting, we've seen some Wolf Run, several Wolf Run decks defeating Delver. Saw some Zombie winning. It's been a good day for Zombie and Wolf Run.
It really has. Zombies has, again, really just taken a dominant approach over this format. It does pretty well against Delver, at least well enough, that people want to consider playing it. And there are some innovative takes that you can have in a Zombie deck between Birthing Pod, not Birthing Pod, Black-Red or Black-Blue.